Hey everyone, Chad Shimabukuro here. I wanted to give you an update. As you can see on my screen, I wanted to talk about we have some new updates for listings. So we've been trying to make it a little bit easier for you in terms of what documents are needed. So in the past, we've needed in section A11 of the exclusive right to sell document, we ask you to include a few things. One of those things is a KW standard addendum. And why is that? That's for disclosure purposes, but also to get you ready so that you can have those documents ready, signed, and even when you put it on MLS, you can put it on MLS supplements. So it's ready for your cooperating broker or agent to just pull them down. It's already executed by the seller. The buyer can execute it and submit it, right? To make that easier. Some of you include an as-is addendum. You can also include, we want you to include the first Hawaii title ABA. Why do we do that? Some people have asked me that. We have a relationship with Old Republic or First American or Title Guarantee or whatever it is. We don't plan on using, First Hawaii Title. So why do we need to put that ABA in? Well, first of all, that ABA is specific to a disclosure to the public to let them know that Keller Williams has ownership interest in First Hawaii Title. So whether you use them or not, we have to disclose the interest that we have in that company. Now, the second part of it, which some people don't really think about, is we need to keep in mind that it's the buyer's negotiation, right? So they can write in what if they write an offer to you and submit it, super strong offer, maybe it's all cash, maybe the buyer is doing a 1031 exchange and this property you're listing, the subject property is going to be the replacement property, and they already are doing a 1031 exchange with First Hawaii Title. If that's the case, you absolutely need to have that in there anyway. So don't assume that it's the seller's sole purpose or sole right to choose who the title and escrow company is. It really is for the buyer's benefit, but it should be part of the negotiation. Nonetheless, it's a harmless document. It's just letting them know that we have ownership interest in it. So have that signed as well. We also have the short-term rental. This is for the County of Honolulu. Short-term rental document, and that's for the state. That's been updated, by the way, everyone. That's been updated in August of 2023. So make sure that you are using the 2-page version of that, not the 1-page version of it. I just recently spoke last week with Suzanne Young, who is the president of HBR. And she mentioned that there's a document. One of the things that have changed on page 2 of that short-term rental document is the request for both parties' personal information. Right, the phone number, email address, which everyone kind of cringes at. They don't want to release that information from their client to the cooperating side. So she said she is working with the county on that to try to clean that document up, because the county just doesn't understand how some of this stuff could be viewed upon as a privacy issue. But nonetheless, it's still required. Put that document in there. What else is required by Keller Williams? The dual or designated agency. The reason why we do that, and again, same reason, is some people will say, I'm just doing the listing. How do I even know if it's a dual or a designated agency? And that's the whole point. The whole point is we don't know yet. And so we are disclosing that. And if you read through the exclusive right to sell, you'll notice that the mention of a dual agency is just a small little blurb. It's so small, it wouldn't give the seller an opportunity to really understand what that means, what their rights are, what, if any, are the conflicts of interest, which there clearly are conflicts of interest. So we want to make sure that we provide them a document that is the document that they would sign agreeing to it. And more importantly, we are advocates for our clients. So if they ask questions, that's a good thing, not a bad thing, right? So if it sparks a conversation, if they raise their hand and say, hey, what is this dual agency? I don't understand what that means. That's a great opportunity to explain that, so there's no surprises if in fact you, as the listing agent, present to the seller an offer for a client that you represent, which is therefore creating a dual agency. Or in the case of designated, that another Keller Williams Honolulu agent is submitting an offer. So it's under the same brokerage. That would be designated agency, but different agents. So we include all these things, and some of you also include something called a representation of more than one buyer or seller. Which is a really important document to throw in there. So we try to make it a little bit easier for you. And what I mean by that, and I'm going to go ahead and show you this document. So I'm in Zip Forms right now. If you go to Zip Forms, you click on Forms. This is a screen that pops up. I go to All Forms. If you notice, this is the library that pops up. And you'll see here Keller Williams Honolulu. One little hint, by the way, If you go there and you don't see Keller Williams Honolulu, you are not tied in to our zip forms. So if you're not tied into our zip forms, please reach out to me, and I'll put you in touch with someone who can get you connected to that, because it's really important. You want to make sure that you're using all of our clauses that we've written for you, all the templates that we've created for you. This is to make your life easy. We've also have all these custom forms that you don't have to go searching for. Right now, many of these live in two places. One is here, and the other one, which is a huge library, slew of documents, that is the KW intranet. The intranet is going to be sunset pretty soon. I think it's going to be within the next few months. So if you are not dialed into our zip forms and you go to the intranet to download documents, even if you save them to your own drive or computer and you use them, you're never going to know if they've been updated. So it's really, really important for you to dial into our zip forms file so that you can see this, and you can see this KW library. In seeing that, we pull off documents that have since expired and we replace them with the right documents. So with that being said, if you noticed here, there's a new document called a listing advisory notice. And the benefit of this document is it replaces many of the things that I'm referring to. So it replaces the KW standard addendum. Let me go back here to show you. It replaces the KW standard addendum. It replaces the representation of more than one buyer or seller. It replaces the first Hawaii title ABA. And it replaces the need to add in there dual or designated agency disclosure. How great is that? So it's just consolidating all those things all into one. And if you read it, it doesn't amend the document or contract. It just adds clarity to it, and it makes it easy for you. And so if you scroll through it, it makes it real simple. It's a few pages long, super benign. So there's that section about representation more than one buyer seller. There's some discussion about the short-term rentals and the different areas that short-term rentals legally can be. It talks about future property value. It has the ABA language in there. It has the dual and designated language in there. And that's it. So what you need going forward now on the, I'm gonna go back to this big screen here. What you need going forward is just in A11 of the listing contract is you need the listing advisory notice. You need the short-term rental disclosure, and you need another document, which I'm going to show you right now. So this document here is called, and I'm going to show it to you right this second, is called a warranty waiver. And so we have a partnership with America's Preferred Home Warranty. There were a couple of larger companies that some agents use. They are no longer doing business in Hawaii anymore. So it's not as if you have a choice, actually. So if you want to provide a reputable company for warranty services, this is a great one to consider. So here's the long and short of it: is if you on the buy side buy your client a home warranty, you will get a bonus of $50, which is great. You just have to fill out some documents. On the listing side, however, same exact thing. If you want to buy the buyer side, and why would we do that? Well, we're not exactly in a super strong seller's market anymore, right? The market has shifted a little bit. While we're not like most parts of the mainland and in a heavy buyer's market, it still has shifted where it is a buyer's market in some areas. It is also a neutral market in others, and you can tell that by the days on market has increased. Prices have been reduced. There are no longer competing offers or escalation clauses and these kind of things. And in fact, the real telltale sign is buyers are including a request for huge amounts of buyer credit, whether it be for 2-1 buy down, a 3-1 buy down, or closing costs, or whatever it is. Buyers are becoming more aggressive, right? With that said, one of the things that you can shore up your offer as well is you can offer the buyer, if you're the listing agent, you can offer the buyer a home warranty. And this will also alleviate some of the negotiation that you might have during the inspection period, because you're like, hey, listen, this property is not perfect. It's not a brand new construction that has a builder's warranty attached to it, but we'll go ahead and offer a 12-month warranty for a few $100s. You can pay for it. The seller can pay for it. If you do, again, you still get a $50 bonus. Let's pretend for a moment in this equation that no one's paying for a warranty whatsoever. This document here is required. I'm making everyone do this now if you're taking a listing. Why would I do that? Because they are offering, even if you said yes that you're buying a warranty, or even if you said no or not, if you see down on the very bottom, it says waiver. So that waiver means, nope, I don't want to have a warranty. We're not buying one. Thanks so much for offering it. We're good. And if they sign that, if something goes sideways, because where's the risk lie between a listing versus a buyer? Much of the risk lies on the listing side, meaning it's a non-disclosure issue. If you notice, most of the lawsuits that happen after closing, by far and away, this is per the E&O insurance companies, by far and away, most lawsuits that happen after closing is non-disclosure related. And so if it's non-disclosure related, who does that impact? It impacts the seller. The seller is the one that's at risk. And so we have every real estate company has E&O policies. The larger you are, the more robust that E&O policy must be to contain all the risk and all the agents and protect everyone and so forth. And there's a deductible. Well, here's the beauty of this is just by signing this document, whether you are purchasing a warranty or whether you are not, this company, America's Preferred Home Warranty, will give us $3,750, so nearly a few $1,000s towards the cost of the deductible. I mean, how great is that? So that costs us absolutely nothing, costs the seller absolutely nothing, even if they don't want the warranty. But what it does do is it offsets some costs. And as you guys know, lawsuits are up by about 11-12% from this time last year because it just is what it is. That's what happens during a shifting market. So what do we need now for a listing? In section A11, which talks about all the documents that are needed, we need the listing advisory disclosure, which I mentioned before. We need this document here, America's Preferred Home Warranty. And again, they don't have to buy it, but they do have to sign it, whether they're going to waive it or not. And they need to have short-term rental if you're in the county of Honolulu. And that's it. That's all you need to put in there, those 3 items in section A11. Everything else we've consolidated into that listing advisory disclosure. And remember, guys, too, is whether it's a listing or whether you're representing a buyer, make sure that you also include comparable sales. It can be in the form of just a kind of a one-sheet report. It can be a full CMA. That part's entirely up to you, but we want to make sure that you are educating your clients as to the state of the market at the time of either writing that offer or taking that listing. And while things can change and the offer can change or the listing can be reduced, all those things are fine because there's a written record of those things happening. But we want to have a jumping off point, a starting point of what dialogue you've had with regards to the current state of the market. So if you guys have any questions, you're absolutely welcome to reach out to me, 808-754-5800. You can also email me at chadshima@kw.com. Hope you guys have a wonderful day.